Hello, ladies. I am taking it back to the basics tonight to talk about feminine energy, but I have a special announcement for you, which we'll get to. So many women that I connect with ask me about feminine energy. They may have heard about it or, read one of my blog posts or maybe had this sensation or this experience where they've been told like, oh, you're intense or you're in your masculine or, all of that. And so I just want to clear up some myths and talk more about this superpower that you have, that all humans have. Feminine energy isn't just associated with being a woman. Feminine energy is about all of us stepping into our feminine gifts, our feminine light, our radiance, and there's no better time than now to do that for our planet and ourselves and our family. And I'm just really honored to be connecting with you. So hi Jacqueline and hi Robin, thank you for joining. So feminine energy can't really be described in words. I wish it were that simple, but it is something you experience. It's like something that you feel. It's something that you know in your bones. And one of the tragedies I feel is that we don't have a lot of role models for what I consider to be really healthy, embodied feminine. We have a lot of women who adopted masculine energy in order to break through the glass ceiling and get women's rights. And hell yeah, that stuff is really important. I'm not knocking that at all. I'm eternally grateful for that. But we're shifting in our consciousness as a humanity and our work environments and our schools and our families to really allow for a feminine expression of leadership in both men and women. And as I was mentioning, it's not about your gender. It's about understanding we all have feminine, we all have masculine, but we've been in this more masculine paradigm of I want to say aggression. I don't know if that's the right word. Not all masculine energy is obviously aggressive, but you look at the state of the world with the fires, you look at what's happening to the earth, what's happening to our bodies and to our health and just the state of the world. And I don't mean to be all doomsday, but I think we can all agree that we could benefit from more love, more compassion, more radiance, more joy, more being in touch with our emotions and our bodies and speaking our truth. And so I'm just excited to dive into this with you tonight. So as we go along, feel free to comment if you have any questions about feminine energy or just want to give a shout out for your experiences or what's been true for you. As I was saying, it's hard to really put language around feminine energy because it's such an embodied, sensual experience. It doesn't have to be sensual, but that is a key aspect of being in our feminine, and I'll get into other of those key aspects as we go on. So I want you to just take a moment with me and pause and close your eyes if it feels good and put your hand somewhere on your body that feels pleasurable. So it might be your heart, it might be your thighs, it might be running your fingers through your hair, rawr. And just connect with the part of your body that feels pleasure in this moment. Mine is a little bit of both, my heart and like the back of my scalp. And just take a few breaths into this part of your body. You might feel like you want to move or stretch or take a nice sigh. And for me, I can feel these endorphins going through my body when I focus on my pleasure. So just take a few more moments tuning out everything else that might be going on in your life and feeling the senses in your body, the ripple effect of your own pleasure. And if you're not feeling pleasure, that's okay. Dive into whatever it is that you're feeling, an emotion, a physical sensation. It's not about putting on a happy face or being positive all the time. It's about falling in love with the sensations that are arising moment by moment. So we'll do one more breath here. Sighing it out the mouth. I may have lost some of you with that little exercise, but that's okay. Pleasure is worth it. So that's just a simple way that in 10 seconds you can come back to your pleasure and come back to your feminine. Is what's going on in my body that feels good? And if there's nothing that's feeling good, how can I fall in love with what's happening? How can I just be with what's happening? So the feminine is something, like I said, that we experience, that we enjoy. And yet there are these pathways, there are these ways ways that we get in touch with our feminine, and I'm going to share some of those with you tonight. And then I also have been creating and birthing this guide to feminine energy, which again is like an oxymoron. Like, how do you have a guide to something that's wild and cannot be tamed? But I've taken the experience that I've had training thousands of women and working very closely with hundreds of women that I mentor, and then also just the last 8 or 9 years that I've been studying and experiencing feminine energy, and I've tried to distill some of that, which I will be sharing on this broadcast, and then you can also comment if you want to learn more information about that. It's a free guide. But getting back to this idea of allowing ourselves to express our feminine, why would we do that? Obviously, the planet needs more healing. Our lives need more healing. In addition to healing, which just feels like getting us back to baseline, I like to think of it as more abundance, more creativity, more enchantment, and getting to that next evolution. To me, it's not necessarily about a level, because this isn't a ladder, it's a spiral that we're all traveling on, but it is about asking yourself, what's the next evolution in my soul's journey? What am I calling into my life? What do I want to enchant in the world, or in my partner, or in my family, or in my business? And what is it that I want to create? As women, we are such powerful creators. We create without effort. Like when a woman, makes a baby, she doesn't do anything other than receive the sperm, and that's how it happens. So I know it's not that simple, but if you think about the power of a woman to create, it's just beyond anything that we can conceive of with our rational mind, because as women, we all have this sixth sense. Now, you may not be used to listening to it or to giving yourself permission to listen to it, but I really believe that you do deep down have this intuitive voice that's got your back, that knows exactly what you need, and that is guiding you and helping you move forward through your life even more fully. And so when we're in connection with our feminine energy, it feels different than when we're in connection with our masculine energy. We can be in touch with both of those at the same time. It's not like you can just be one or the other. It's not binary, right? We all have fluidity in these ways, and increasingly our humanity is having fluidity in these ways. But when you're not paying attention to your feminine and it's been a while, you might start to feel dull or flat or cranky, or just like life doesn't have as much meaning. You're going through the motions, but things don't feel the same. And typically we experience this in a big way, through like a quarter life or midlife crisis, or later in life crisis, right? Like, I feel like we don't necessarily wait anymore to have crises. Like, they just come up when they need to come up. It's like this little volcano that's waiting, because life is just so much more fast-paced now than it was before. We don't wait until we're halfway through our life to have a crisis. We're having these awakenings all the time, or these opportunities for growth all the time. But oftentimes, if we haven't been paying attention to our feminine energy, I feel like we're thrown into a crisis, which is just an activation. It's an activation of something within us that's laid dormant. And we can react to that crisis, in quotations, in volatile ways, punishing ourselves or others, or neglecting ourselves or others. Or we can react to that in really yummy, juicy, embodied, sacred ways. And I feel that when we have the power of the feminine within us, and we're paying attention to it, and we're cultivating it and coaxing her into our life, that we can navigate those cycles so much faster individually and as a community. And so what gets really exciting is that then you have this power within you to create, to manifest, to magnetize what it is that you want. Maybe it's abundance, maybe it's a new career, maybe it's writing a children's book, maybe it's reaching a different level of sensuality and connection to your body, or connection to a partner. Maybe it's love. I work a lot with women on dating and love and relationships, but the feminine energy transcends and includes all of that. It's even more than that, which is really exciting, because it's like having this, rocket booster or special skill in your back pocket to not only navigate life's ups and downs, but to really receive what it is that you want. So we talked a bit about pleasure as an aspect of the feminine. We've talked about creativity, magnetizing, sensuality, being in touch with your intuition. I'd love to hear in the comments what you consider to be a key aspect of your feminine. I have about 12 or so that I mention in this guide on feeling fabulously feminine, and I'll share more about that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm curious whether you're watching the replay or whether you're watching live, if you want to share any aspects about what feminine energy means to you. Now, when we've spent too long in our feminine energy, we can start to feel like we're lost in the ocean. And that can feel overwhelming, right? So it's not that we just want to be in our feminine. We want to be able to flow between both effortlessly, intuitively, based on what the moment is calling. You know, for those of you that are moms, I'm sure there's times where you have to bring, and I'll be learning this soon when Ruby is born, where you have to bring that more fierce, somewhat perhaps masculine energy about boundaries and rules and accountability and discipline and consequences. And then there's other times where, you know, there's a softer and nurturing energy, a loving energy, an allowing and accepting energy. And so those of you who are moms already understand this, and a lot of people who are managers or work with people a lot, you know, are in professional services of any kind, I'm sure you get this too, right? We all kind of get this on a deeper level. But my invitation to you is to let yourself receive the gift of accessing and harnessing both your masculine and your feminine. Not only will that help you attract a better partner who's more balanced and integrated within themselves, I guarantee you're going to have a lot more fun. The feminine has way more fun. And then the other thing is you're also going to unlock all of these other pieces that you might not have even dreamed possible. You know, I've had clients who were working with me primarily on finding a partner, but they got a $10,000 bonus at work because they were showing up more confidently. You know, one of my clients just shared that in the last week or two, she got a $6,000 check from the IRS from her taxes 2 years ago. I don't know what happened, but they re-accounted for things, and she just got a $6,000 check in the mail. And so, you know, it's not all about obviously abundance, but why not? It definitely helps, you know. I find that women get used to settling for less, working harder, expecting people to notice if they just keep their head down and do a good job. And we know because of the pay gap and all of those things that it doesn't work that way. And so I want to equip every woman and everyone who wants to be in touch with their feminine energy to really understand just how powerful this is. So I talked about the abundance piece, about the creativity piece with people writing children's books or starting nonprofits, or a woman who had never done any acting or any voiceover got contacted to be a voiceover person because someone was just really captivated and captured by her voice. So all of these doors open that you didn't even maybe think about. And I hear Lori saying those of us who are single moms get tossed in masculine to be able to take care of everything. Absolutely. You know, single moms have to adopt a lot of masculine energy, and I applaud you for being able to take care of your kids and to be able to do all the things that you do. This isn't about stopping that. This is just about giving you the support that you need to have more access to your feminine when you are able and when it's possible. You know, a lot of the women I work with who are single moms, they actually find that their relationship with their children gets stronger the more that they're able to access their feminine energy, because it allows them to be vulnerable and get help from people around them in their community and not feel like they have to do it all themselves. Now, I know that many times you do have to do it all yourself, so I'm not minimizing that. But I invite you to continue to dive into feminine energy in a way that feels authentic for you, of course. So I'm gonna wrap us up here. I feel like I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I want to leave you with an invitation. You know, if you want to feel more connected with your feminine, and if you want to have more abundance and enchantment and creativity in your life, then just put in the chat bar or whatever, I'm in, and we will send you a guide that I created. It's a free guide on feeling fabulously feminine. There's so much more detail that I can't share, obviously, in just a PDF, because This is about embodiment and practices and community and connecting to your heart and creating a sacred space and all of that. But it does sometimes help to have an intellectual view of what is feminine energy and how can I use its power in my life. And so just type in "I'm in" and we will send you the link, or I'll comment with the link for you to sign up to get your free PDF, your free guide. It's about 11 or 12 pages long, about feminine energy and feeling fabulously feminine. So this is my gift to you, and something that's been really on my heart as I've become pregnant and wanted to share more in the feminine, given that I have a daughter who's on her way. So I'm sending all of you so much love, so much feminine radiance. I appreciate your showing up for yourself and listening, and for being vulnerable like Lori did. Thank you so much for sharing. And I invite you to just, as best you can, take a moment like we did at the beginning of this live to connect with your pleasure and to give yourself just a breath. It's the middle of the week. You deserve it. Take a moment for yourself, and I will connect with you soon. Mwah. Bye.